No freaky deaky? Whoa, boy. Giddy up, horsey. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Hello to all of my blind daters and hopeless romantics and internet daters, whatever your dating game is. Welcome to the Blind Date After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am your host, ReGina Coles, the host with the queenly touch, I like to say. So listen, we are at the end. I'm going to say hello to my producer, Vito. Hi.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm sad that it's over, though. We 35 more episodes. Yeah!
I know, 35 episodes, Vito. 140 couples.
Let's get 140 more, Regina.
I think by this time we are experts in the blind dating game.
I think so. I think you definitely more than me, but definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure. And listen, we've got a lot of great stuff going on today's show, juicy gossip and breaking news about our favorite royal couple, ultimate blind daters, Harry and Meghan. Yeah, so you want to stay tuned for that. And then we've got some interesting statistics about the blind dating show.
Interesting
that are
indeed.
Shocking.
Interesting indeed.
Yeah. So listen, I'm going to move on to my overall thoughts. And my overall thoughts are, I thought they would at least save the best for last, Vito.
I really thought they were going to as well.
I did too. I thought they were going to up the game and give us the 10 pluses.
Just a little behind the scenes here for you folks. When me and Regina met up right before the show today, I asked her, I was like, hey, was it as good as you had hoped? And she was like, well, I was like, no!
Say it isn't so.
I was hoping they would get
anyways,
fun.
What can we say? Moving on to couple number 1, episode 32. They were really cute and attractive couple, and they did have some chemistry. So there you go. There was one couple in the bunch, maybe two. We'll see, guys. Stay tuned. But Santia and Donnie were an adorable couple. She's a professional rugby player. How about that?
I think that's a lot of fun, personally.
Well, I'm saying she's African American, so listen. In the hood that I grew up in, neighborhood, excuse me, we didn't have any rugby. So I'm thinking, you go, girl.
Yeah, rugby's really popular nowadays. Back where I went to college, there was actually not a men's rugby team. There was only a women's rugby team.
Well,
and they were some tough gals.
There you go. And so Donnie was her date, and he was a tall, dark, handsome audio engineer. And so they really did have a really great chemistry. Their date was at a trampoline place, and they shot baskets. And
I love those.
Yeah, they kind of teased one another where she wanted to prove to him that she was stronger than him. And, of course, we know that's not the truth. But I thought it was a really good date, and some of my notes were that she really was looking for a husband type. And so to me, right out the gate, I don't think you ask anybody, are they interested in getting married? And I guess you can, but for me, I would not on the first date.
Yeah, I feel like that's a misinterpretation of tactics on a first date, like especially for a blind date. Like I don't think anybody that's going out on a blind date, well, maybe they are looking for husband material, but
I think that might scare a person off.
Yeah, probably would scare me off if somebody that I didn't know was like, do you want to get married now?
But, the thing, too, about these guys is the guy, Donnie, was a great-looking guy, but what I didn't like was how he was dressed. I thought the saggy, baggy pants were out of style.
Somewhat, sometimes.
Yeah, for me, that would have been a turnoff, but, they weren't, like, sagging to the point where you saw his underwear. That would definitely have ended the date for me or really turned me off even more. But he got a little kinky right away. Well, not right away, but when this hot tub thing, man, I hope if they get a second season, they let go of the hot tub because it is too predictable, guys.
Did you watch the original Blind Date? Was there a hot tub in the original Blind Date?
No, I didn't watch it. That was like, what, 20-something years ago?
Yeah,
and I
I
was
suppose so.
Still a child in the crib, but no, I'm kidding, of course. But anyways, the hot tub thing is just too predictable. That's where, they set up the romantic tryst or whatever. But anyways, he asked her, would she eat something out of his mouth? Not romantic for me.
Gross.
Yeah, really gross, but
you don't even know this person. You don't know where that mouth's been.
Exactly. Hello. I mean, she did let him feed her a strawberry. Haha. So, they were a cute couple, so I don't have anything negative to say about them. They were planning to go on a second date.
Did they?
But they haven't so far. It's just texting back and forth. But they did have a good chemistry, so I would have to say they matched this couple up really well.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that we at least have one couple that works
Well,
out.
right, because couple number 2 didn't fare so well. No. And first of all, their date was making a wedding cake.
Oh. Making a cake is cute. Making
a wedding cake?
A wedding cake?
Please. No thanks.
Whose wedding was it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyways, they put them in these goofy outfits, which I didn't like. I mean, I just don't understand why you got to dress up, how this adds to the date. It only takes away from it to me. And so by the time they finished making the wedding cake, which they thought was delicious, great, they switched off a little bit of their outfits. He wore the wedding veil and she wore his top hat and derby.
That's kind of cute.
He was silly looking. They went in a restaurant and people were like, what's going on with you? Yeah. So I don't know. It was just not that interesting and they weren't really into each other that much. He kept trying to say to her, will you get busy on the first date? And she was like, no. Listen, if you're here for a booty call, I'm out the door. And I personally would feel the same way. Yeah. You just met me and you expect me to lay down with you?
Absolutely.
Give me a break. God.
Yeah, I agree. And
so what really ended the date was he moseyed on over to her in the hot tub and stuck his his tongue in her ear and asked her to get nasty with him. And she was like,
gross.
No, thank you. Have a good night. Goodbye. I'm out of here.
He just couldn't take a message. It sounds like she was being very clear with what she was saying. And
yeah.
He just could not decipher that.
I hear you. Well, speaking of being very clear, I want to take this time to thank all of our viewers for supporting us here at AfterBuzz TV. We really appreciate when you go on iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. And we appreciate even more so when you go to YouTube and you give us a thumbs up, you subscribe to our pages, and you leave all your wonderful comments. So, guys, thank you so very much for supporting us all here at AfterBuzz TV.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And, we appreciate your continued support. And,
we hope you'll be back for another season of Blind Date.
Well, if not Blind Date, it'll be something even better.
Of course.
But either way, thank you guys so much for your support. And moving right along now to episode 33, couple number 1. This was a funny couple. And that's why in the cold open, I was like, oh boy, giddy up, This date was at a horse farm, and the young lady, Deidre, was a horse trainer, and the guy, D, was a vendor who had never, ever ridden a horse. So, first of all, number 1 for me, red flag is I'm afraid of horses.
Oh.
And he was.
Yeah.
So, she's a trainer and I get it. She wanted to be in a spot that was comfortable for her. Nothing wrong with that. But horseback riding is not something you can just take, to me, somebody that's afraid of horses on.
I probably would feel the same way. I know a few people that really do like horses, but like if like as a blind date, I feel like that's almost too risky of a thing to do, because especially if you're scared around horses, like they can harm you very, very much so.
They do. And the horses know when you're afraid of them.
Yeah.
And that's when they start, letting you know they're in control. Yeah. And so this one horse that he was on, horses start taking off, because especially if it's another horse around and that horse is their buddy or they're mating. Oh my gosh. The first time I went horseback riding, the horses were mating.
No.
And guess where I was? Guess where I was?
You were on the back of were you on the back of the bottom horse?
I was at the Ponderosa Ranch in Lake Tahoe.
Oh my God.
Yes. Beautiful ranch, beautiful horses. But they kept bringing out horses to me.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, I need a little toy pony.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
They were like, no, come on. This is the smallest horse we have for you. But what I'm saying is the horses were mating. And so they were going to put me on a horse that took off after a female horse. I think they call it a mare.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think so. I'm going to pass. I saw how well endowed the horse was. And I said, no horseback riding for me.
I don't blame you.
So if you're afraid of horses, first date or anything you're afraid of, I just don't agree with that. For me, I would have backed out.
Yeah.
But he was a good sport. He got on the horse.
Aww,
but
good.
Let's say the date went nowhere.
Okay.
And these guys were totally not compatible, so...
Well, maybe another group would have done better on that. Maybe another couple would have done better on that date,
Yeah. The thing about this show to me is the couples they just don't have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
They don't match them up well.
But I guess you can't really... Again, this comes back to the conversation, do we know whether they match them up or not? Because if they don't match them up and they're just taking random people looking for blind dating, then that's a different story.
Okay, so they don't go troll on social media, so that's supposedly not a connection. They don't get them from social media. So I don't know where they got them from, probably a casting call.
Yeah, that's what I would think, because I can't imagine like them taking the time to really set these people up specifically, especially because it's blind dating. It's dating that's meant to be like, just throw two random people together and see what happens,
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a comedy, but after a while it just gets to be too bizarre and annoying. And like last week when I got into the news about the show, and the show has not really been met with a lot of great positive comments or success. And so that's one of the things that people are talking about, is that the awkwardness of the dating, the weirdness and all that. Yeah. If you really want a good quality dating show, it's okay to make it a comedy, make it fun and exciting, but make it something exhilarating that the average person out there who's looking for a date can find hope in.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But also, I know these kind of shows have sometimes been just like for people to watch other people suffer through. Like, it sounds to me like a lot of these dates were like something that me and my friends would watch to laugh at.
Well, okay, so, I just think they've need to just make it more of a cleaner show, give it a lot more quality instead of having so many episodes.
I understand that.
Cut the episodes down, take that money and put the money into like better wardrobe for the people who are the daters, because the wardrobe is like really all over the place and tacky. Like in episode 34, they had a young lady named Tommy and a guy named Bernard, a preacher. Now, he out of the gate said that he's a freaky preacher. So that's
That is an interesting
part of my-
combination of words.
for a preacher. Right. But he said, hey, he, is one of these guys, even though he's a man of the cloth. I don't know. I wouldn't put that on television to let my congregation know.
Neither would I, especially if that kind of work.
Exactly. But anyways, their date was at a dress shop that was like cross-dressing,
Okay.
like a drag queen kind of
Okay.
dressing. And so he's a preacher. They put him in a woman's outfit, dress, wig, heels, everything.
Okay. They
Why?
put him in that, or he was in that?
Well, he changed clothes and that's what he got into, but why?
I guess he wanted to. I'm not sure.
No, it was part of the show. That's where their date was. Their date was to dress each other up, but they went to a shop that is into like doing drag and that kind of thing, dressing up, drag queens.
Okay.
So I'm like, what are we missing here? What is the purpose of this date here starting in this dress shop?
Well, he's a freaky preacher. He's trying to get freaky.
I guess so. So this date just got freakier as it went on when they got to the hot tub. Oh, they didn't get to the hot tub because it rained
Oh, no.
on their parade. So they had to go inside and they play Spin the Bottle. How dated is that?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't want to play
That's
Spin the Bottle
that's
on my
really
first date.
juvenile. That's really,
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, though, that's what they did.
Well, first of all, you don't know me well enough to ask me to do all this kind of kinky stuff, especially on television. Give me a break. I wouldn't be comfortable. And she wasn't at first, but then girlfriend was all in.
Gotcha.
And so they spin the bottle, and he asked her to fake an orgasm.
Okay.
Then it was like, suck my elbow.
Okay.
And she was a willing participant.
Oh, she was?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's fun then.
It was fun for him. He said it was kinky and it was arousing him. But I'm like,
Oh, I'm
what
sure.
does it make her look like?
I don't know, a consenting participant, in my opinion. She decided to do it, so.
This is true. But my thing is this, and I've always said from the beginning of the show, one of my don'ts is don't do anything that you're going to regret later because this is on TV.
Very true.
Television. And once it airs, it's out there. Once it's on the internet, it's out there. And these type of things, it's been my experience now with anybody that wants to hire somebody, the first thing they want to know is your social media handle. And then they go on there and they troll it and they, try to find all the good dirt, the bad, and in between. And then guess what? You wind up not getting the job. And I know quite a few people that's happened to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess on TV it's probably a little worse unless nobody finds it.
Well, they're going to find it.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, what's done in the dark, folks, comes to the light. So, the same thing with the show is like drinking too much. A lot of the contestants, they really boozed it up. And it just got to the point where they were out of character or they couldn't control or handle themselves. Like I told you, the one girl, she fell over when she got out of the hot tub.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just
messy.
not cool.
That's
Ladies, we always have to be ladies, okay? So, I know it's exciting I'm going on a blind date. And the thing about the show is I think that the people who are going out for these dates, the expectations are too high. They're looking for that Harry and Meghan connect. Blind date that's going to lead to me marrying into the royal family and, the rags and riches to riches story or what have you. Their dreams being fulfilled. And that's just not the case with this type of show.
Yeah.
is definitely not The Bachelor.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
But I'll have to say that, I mean, there were a few hilarious moments, and that they did stretch the type of dating and the type of people that are out there willing to do anything
Yeah.
to go on a blind date. And speaking of blind dates, I'm going to head into my special segment in news before we get to our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
So we go in
Well,
news
you
or
know
special
what?
segment?
No, I'm going to end with news and special segments because
right.
I think we have a lot to talk about there, Vito.
All right.
I'm going to go right on to episode 35.
Gotcha.
Now, for those of you wondering why I did not review couple number 2 for episode 34, is because it got really ridiculous and distasteful. I don't need anybody sharing with me that they defecated
Oh, yeah.
on their living room or
That's not
having
something
sex
you should
or
share.
whatever. And so when that came out, that little revelation, I was like, click.
Yep. I don't blame you.
Now, how would you feel if you were on a blind date and the person you're out on a date with shares that bit of news with you?
There wouldn't be a second date.
Yeah, that's like a total turn off to me.
Yeah.
It's saying to me that, wow, you don't have any kind of shame to your game. I mean, you're willing to do or say anything. And that would just be a total turn off to me.
I mean, it's also a very particular case in which not only does that happen, but then you talk about it having happened.
It's not good hygiene, too.
No, I think that would probably, I think that would cut me out of the date pretty fast. I think I would probably walk
It's
on
just so embarrassing.
out. Yeah.
So moving on to episode
And now it's
35.
on TV too. Oh my God.
I know. So that's out there. It's out there in the universe for everybody to see in the television world, Twitter,
Terrible.
you name it,
Terrible.
social media. So this last couple, they were kind of cute. They were Colette. She was a designer. Ralph, a personal trainer. He was full of himself. The thing about these two is she was a lot taller than him.
That's fun.
Okay.
I don't mind that.
He thought it was fun too. Yeah, hey. He said, hey, I can handle it. And so it was all good. They were a really cute couple. And her big thing, though, with him was she kept asking him, are you in your hoe phase? Because he had been married very early at like 21 years old. And he got divorced at 23 and he has a 3-year-old or something like that.
Yikes.
And so she's like, are you in your hoe phase? Now, when a woman asks you that,
my
what does that
God.
mean, Vito?
That would immediately put me in a corner. I would just be like, if I went on a date with a woman and she looked at me and was like, "Are you in your hoe phase?" I would. That's a lot of assumptions at one time about me.
But come on, for our viewers out there.
It's obvious that she was possibly interested or calling him out.
Calling him out because she felt that since he got married at an early age, that he hadn't sowed his wheats yet, that he was going through that wild stage of being a single guy and dating a lot of women. And the killer part was that he justified it by saying to her, she asked him, when is the last time you had sex? And what did he say?
Back when he was married.
Few hours ago.
Oh?
Like last night before I got ready for my date.
Okay. Who did he have sex with? His ex?
They didn't know. She is unknown.
Look, okay. To be fair, like I'm not gonna be too judgmental here. If that's what you're on, that's what you're on. Do what you want.
Do you have to tell the person that you just had sex before you prepare for their date? What kind of message does that send?
I mean, it sends possibly that you're in your hoe phase.
Exactly. Number one. Number two, well, you're not very serious about me,
Yeah.
or
To be fair, it is a first date, though. It's a blind first date, so I don't think you have to necessarily be too serious about it.
that is another don't. Hey, why spill all the beans to a stranger?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's pretty messy.
You don't need to know everything that I've written in my diary up to the point of our date,
Yeah.
my meeting you.
Yeah, that's pretty messy. That's work that I think is much less strategic when it comes to being on a date. Is talking about previous dates, talking about like previous relationships, talking about like especially if you got married, talking about your previous marriage. I mean, it's nice to be
Yeah.
upfront with stuff like that.
Well, to
But-
me, it's after you've been with the person for a long time. But I'm gonna tell you the truth. If he had told me that,
Yeah.
he wouldn't get a second date.
Yeah, and that's the risk he's putting out there, because there's also the possibility that he might find somebody that would still go on a second date with him despite that.
He was a good-looking guy, clean, a charmer, goes to church, doesn't drink. But you know what that means. If he doesn't drink,
Everybody's got their vices.
they got their vices, so is sex his.
Yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, she did agree to go on a second date with him.
Oh.
But I'll tell you what, if she's a smart girl, she will make sure the cookies stay in the cookie jar for a long time.
Sounds to me like he was either in an unhappy marriage or doesn't know how to stay married.
No, he just got married too early. And that happens when you're 21 years old. To me, you're still a kid. You're
Yeah.
just getting out of college
Yeah.
or whatever, trying to find yourself. And to get married and have a child and take on all those responsibilities is a lot for somebody so young.
It's a lot very immediately.
Yeah, and then when you
I can't imagine.
get
having a
out
kid
there
right
in
now.
the world, the same thing, guy or girl, but especially you men, I'm going to have to be a little biased now. You guys go on out there and you get into your Playboy phase, So,
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like if he was a religious man, there might have been like some societal pressures for him to get married. And that was probably a whole
Yeah.
big thing for him too.
it might have been a forced marriage.
Yeah, well, not even a forced marriage. It might have been like, I know a lot of friends that grew up in very religious backgrounds, and like they always felt like they couldn't have sex until marriage.
okay.
And so like they were like 19, 20, and they were getting into relationships, and they were like, oh, what do I do?
Oh, they want it out.
Yeah, well, they wanted out, but they also like they just didn't understand that their upbringing didn't have to be what it was.
Yeah.
Like, not to say there's nothing wrong with it. If that's the way you want to go, if you want to like get married at the age of 21, have a kid, that's great. But
Well-
some people aren't ready for it.
Right.
I'm not ready for it.
Well, speaking of marriage, we are going to venture into news and special segment right now.
TV News.
Okay, guys. Most royal watchers are keeping their fingers crossed, hoping that the shocking announcement made a few days ago by blind daters and now wedded royals Harry and Meghan to step back from their royal duties and split their time between the UK and North America will end with a happy ending for everyone.
That's good.
But many are wondering if this unexpected announcement, which was said to have blindsided the Queen and the royal family, will lead to further division with the Windsors. So what do you think, Vito?
I have not been keeping too much track of the royal
What?
wedding, honestly. It's turned out for me
Well.
to be just something that I don't really have much of a part in. I don't have a lot.
You have to perform
I?
your royal duties.
I don't.
It's part of history.
Luckily, I don't, because I am not a royal, I'm happy to say.
Well, I'll have you know, it was announced that the Queen Elizabeth herself, along with Prince Charles and Prince William, and Harry will meet sometime this week at Buckingham Palace.
That's good.
To try and come up with a reasonable solution.
That's good.
Hoping to find middle ground with Harry and Meghan's announcement. Duchess Meghan is said to be joining the phone by Skype. The meeting, I should say, by Skype or phoning in.
That should be interesting. Judging by what has been said, I don't think there's going to be much movement on it.
Well, it would be wonderful to be a royal fly on the wall for that one.
Oh, wouldn't it?
But, in moving on to a more serious phase about this story, the reason for them doing this, that cute little Archie, oh, he's so adorable, is because of the constant barrage of racist comments by the British tabloids that prompted their move. And one of the tabloids even went as far as publishing a picture of Harry and Meghan holding hands with a chimpanzee and identifying the chimpanzee as baby Archie. Now that's hitting below the belt.
It is. It's despicable. Honestly, I can't really
terrible.
blame Miss Markle for being as upset as she is.
I know. It's 2020, but you also have to feel for Harry because Harry knew how vicious the press was with his mom, the late Princess Diana.
Yeah.
So, but my question to you and everyone out there viewing today, what do you think is the right solution for this, or is there a solution? Do you think that they did the right thing by exposing this and posting it on social media first before talking to their family about it?
I think there's a possibility that the family would have suppressed it regardless.
Oh, okay.
I'm very much in the facet of they would have done whatever's convenient for them. And that's probably why things were kind of shown with things were kind of brought up without bringing it up to the royal family, because I'm sure the royal family would have been very governmental about this, very like, we need to keep this down.
And
Don't
that's
acknowledge
their
it
way.
And we'll be fine.
That is their way. They they try to keep all of their family business under tight lip.
Yeah.
They don't like to comment about politics or anything whatsoever that's in the news media. So, and they really just started doing social media when Harry and Meghan got married.
Yeah.
When they got engaged, that's when they really started delving a little more into social media. But the thing that I'm thinking of is I thought that maybe they didn't even have to go this far if maybe the Queen spoke out or Prince Charles and defended them.
Yeah.
And saying, this is our family and we will not tolerate this.
And maybe they'll do it after the fact. Who knows? I think they've missed their chance.
Yeah.
I think Meghan probably withstood it long enough for what was going on. And whatever happens, I wish them the best. I heard they're moving to possibly going to Canada.
The damage is done.
Yeah. I just wish them the best. I hope that they end up somewhere that makes them happier.
Well, and I do hope that maybe this will be a good thing to happen to the royal family.
Yeah.
And hopefully his brother, William, will show him some support.
Yeah.
And maybe, it may be a happy ending.
Yeah.
So we wish them the best always.
Absolutely.
And so, but, the racist thing, that is just unforgivable.
Abhorrent.
And just...
Absolutely.
Yeah. So not necessary, guys. Let's respect each other.
Yeah.
We're different in so many ways, and let's embrace that. But anyways, moving on and closing out our segment, I just want to add a few little notes about Blind Date, and that out of 140 couples, 35 episodes, only about four couples actually reported that they went out on a blind date. So that's less, Yeah.
On a
that's-
second date, you mean?
Yeah, second
Yeah.
date. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's less than 3%.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to be completely honest, judging by the sound of these
Yeah.
episodes.
So, I mean, they have to do a better job, go back to the drawing board. I don't know if Bravo is renewing them for a second season,
guess we'll
but
find
I
out.
hope that they took stock of all the comments that people provided on
Absolutely.
social media and elsewhere, and that if they bring the show back, that it's a better show and it's much more of a quality show.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it has been a blast being your host for the Blind Date After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you, Vito, for being my
Thank you,
co-host in my
guys.
millennial
Thank you for
perspective.
having me.
And you can find me at ReGina Coles on Instagram. And guys, look for me. You can search my name on AfterBuzz TV because I will be coming back with new shows. Take care. Bye-bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.